Hello and welcome back to Lorcana Villain. My name is Baker, and today we're going to be reviewing every single Ruby card from the upcoming Lorcana set, Shimmering Skies. We've done 4 of the other inks so far. This is our 5th video. I am leaving for Italy in 4 hours. I got a heck of a lot done this week. I'm really proud of myself. We've been on it with these set reviews, and today I recorded the set championship video that will go out on Friday evening, recorded that, got that all edited, and now I've got 4 hours until I'm leaving. I'm recording this now. It shouldn't take me more than an hour max, and then it shouldn't take me more than an hour max to edit it, so hopefully I'm going to get this all done and ready and set it to release on Sunday evening. If it doesn't release until Monday, something went wrong, but yeah, we're making our way through all of the set now. We're getting closer and closer to the big release date. But yeah, I'm super excited for this set to drop and to start brewing some new decks. A shout out to the channel sponsors, Cardmarket. If you're looking for Lorcana singles at competitive rates, please check out Cardmarket. But let's take a look at all of the Ruby cards. Alright, so they finally uploaded all of the cards and in English to Dreamborn. So that's going to make this a heck of a lot tidier. So very thankful to Dreamborn for getting that done. And we're going to start off with Taffeta Mutton Fudge. The new racer keyword. We looked at a couple of racers when we did our Amber reviews. 2 cost inkable, 2/2, quest for 2. We also have a 1-drop Taffeta with a 1/2 stat line, quest for 1, and Showstopper. When you play this character, if you have a location in play, each opponent loses 1 lore. I think this is one of the best 1-drops in the game already. Of course, that's contextual to the sort of deck you're playing this with, but if you are playing a heavy location deck, then this is great just to have a 1-drop that just instantly removes a lore from the opponents. That's super cool. And both of these Taffetas are shift targets for our Floodborn, who is a 4-cost inkable 3/3, shift 2, quest for 1, and new roster once per turn. When this character moves to a location, gain 2 lore. So that is super strong. Again, assuming that we are whether we're shifting or not, you can put this down and as long as you've got the ink, move straight to a location. However, we're getting this new location, Sugar Rush Speedway, starting lane, 1 cost uninkable, 0 to move there, 5 willpower, and on your marks once per turn, you may exert chosen character here and deal them 1 damage to move them to another location for free. So that ability sets up a whole extra conversation, but at its simplest form, the Taffeta that we were just looking at, if we've got this Sugar Rush Speedway down, we can move there for free and instantly gain 2 lore, and that is super strong. And if we manage to find a nice location deck in Ruby alone, you have access to the RLS Legacy, and there's Agrabah, but again, lots of locations from other decks have a lot more unique abilities. But again, just this Sugar Rush Speedway, 0 to move there. If you can get 2 of these down, you can keep moving between the 2. So that's super good. The stat line's okay. The stat line's okay. By the time you can put this down on turn 2, but that implies you played a shift target on turn 1, so you haven't got your location down yet, so you wouldn't be able to immediately move anywhere. You'd have to sit there for a turn and then put the location down on 3. Good thing is we don't have to exert, we don't have to make ourselves vulnerable, so that's pretty good, and we're out of brawl range. So yeah, you definitely wouldn't think of this as a quester or of something that's going to challenge unless you really need to. You just wanted to sit there and move between these locations, and then you need your build would have to be good combo right so that you can then protect these locations with other rush characters. But yeah, I think this Taffeta is actually super good. I don't think it automatically goes into Ruby Amethyst or even all Ruby decks, but I think there's definitely a new location heavier Ruby deck. Don't know what it's going to be paired with. I think Amber is a high contender that could do really well. So yeah, I think this card will definitely see play. But yeah, going back to Sugar Rush Speedway, outside of Taffeta and the instant lore gain, this potentially opens up so much. For a start, doing the 1 damage to yourself, it's not always going to be awful. I mean, it's going to reduce the possibility of you being able to play like really low cost like baby characters and move them to significant locations if it's only got 1 willpower, or if maybe that's bringing it too low so it only takes like a Tink Ping or something to finish you off. It may be too risky, but you could also set things up here. There's the Donald Duck who gets extra lore depending on how much damage is on him. There's of course if you're paired with Amber, then this could potentially set up things for Rapunzel. So there is some synergy here with self-damage, and there's another character to look at in a moment who fits that theme. But yeah, being able to move to other locations for free is kind of appealing. We immediately start looking at the locations that cost 2. There's a couple that cost 3 as well. So you've got Baden on the Greater Luminary to get extra lore and willpower. Ursa's Lair means that if you're banishing a challenge, you return to hand. Underworld is super strong. If you're there, then you can pay 3 to quest and pay 3 to return a character from the discard. Ursa's Garden here, while you have an exerted character here, opposing characters get -1 lore. Snuggly Duckling is potentially very interesting because you can get such insane lore bumps for challenging. Again, a little situational, but definitely worth exploring. The Pride lands for that extra willpower. Tiana's Palace so that you can't be challenged anymore. Fang to get Ward and Evasive. RLS Legacy to then make it to give you Evasive and make it cheaper to move other characters there. So yeah, there's potentially some really interesting interactions here. Of course, the fact that you have to exert the character to then move it to that other location means that it's then probably vulnerable to be challenged. But maybe some of these locations help with that, with extra willpower or whatever it might be. So there's definitely some combos that this enables. So this is going to require some testing for sure, but it's a super interesting card. It's probably going to lean more on the fun side to start, but as time goes on and we get more broken locations, then I think this in return will become broken. Maybe not broken, but very, very, very usable. So yeah, great card. Going on now to Wreck-It Ralph, Demolition Dude, 3 cost inkable, 1/4 quest for 1, and Refreshing Break. Whenever you ready this character, gain 1 lore for each 1 damage on him. So I just talked about some cards have synergy with self-damage, so that self-damage from that location will be pretty good for this. Teeth and Ambitions is a great way to set this up. There's an action called On Your Feet, which isn't great. So there's a few things that we can do to self-ping ourselves. And of course, maybe just challenging something with that 4 willpower, there's good odds that we could get 2 or 3 damage counters on ourselves. And then there are some things to let us re-ready. There's Fan the Flames, there's LeFou. One of the very interesting ones is Go the Distance, which is a song and lets you draw a card as well. There's Shield of Virtue. There's also this Bernard, which is kind of interesting because it works on curve. At the end of your turn, if this character is exerted, you may ready another chosen character of yours. So you quest or whatever to exert the Ralph. And then just having this on board, as long as you're exerted, then it would immediately re-ready the Ralph. It's a bit long-winded. That's probably not the best combo. But the other cards I just mentioned, like Go the Distance and LeFou's and things like that, those are nice ways to re-ready our Wreck-It Ralph. But then how are we exerting him again? Like, because really we want to have 2 or 3 damage counters on this and then, like, be able to re-ready a couple of times in a turn. And most of those cards say that we can't quest again. But I suppose if we quest, re-ready, and then sing something, and then re-ready, it's probably a bit of a too long-winded combo. But it is a combo piece nonetheless, and it's a very interesting effect that could get you some reach if a combo like that ever becomes reasonable to achieve, then this could be very good. At the moment, it's more on the fun side, but cool card. Alright, a very interesting one. We have Maximus, Team Champion, 6 cost inkable, 3/5, quest for 2, and royally big rewards. At the end of your turn, if you have any characters in play with 5 strength or more, gain 2 lore. If you have any in play with 10 strength or more, gain 5 lore instead. So that 5 lore jump is potentially mad, and the fact that this is the end, it triggers at the end of your turn is really good because, like, if we can arrange having a character with 5 strength or preferably 10, then all we need to do is just put the Maximus on the board and there's nothing our opponent's going to be able to do by that point to stop that lore gain. So that is pretty cool. So 5 strength is not too unachievable. Worth mentioning as well, a really nice combo piece that we're going to talk about to potentially get this online is the Queen from Amber, and it has been confirmed by Steve Warner that effects like the Queen or just good old-fashioned support, they don't end into... Basically, this would trigger. If you give extra strength to something with the Queen or support or something like that, this effect would trigger before those effects end on that character. So the Queen is a really nice way if we could, because I'm not really aiming for 5. I think if you're just gaining 2 lore, this isn't worth it. But if we can get it be gaining 5, then potentially there's something here. So how are we achieving that? So we want characters with 6 strength that the Queen can boost up. That is going to be our best way to do it, and obviously Maui is a fantastic piece to work with there. So I think Ruby Amber is going to be the best way of potentially achieving this. In Steel, you have Goofy, Night for a Day. You could do it that way. I don't think that's... I wouldn't. Scar is an option. This Lumiere is an option. T-Car we've got here. Hydra is an option. I think that's pretty much it. Of course, you could also throw some extra shenanigans in there with the 2-drop Lumiere, who gives +1 strength to all characters. This Nessus as well, potentially, and that's got 7, so throw a Maui's Fishhook in there as well. It is very long-winded. There are a few ways of doing it. There's also Chernabog, who obviously has 9, and pair that with Lumiere, and that's a way of doing it. And we're going to look at another character in a moment that could potentially be used in combination with this. I don't think it's meta-breaking straight off the back, but someone's going to try breaking this, and is it going to be consistent? I thoroughly doubt it, but I'm looking forward to trying. But it is a very interesting card with some potential very large reach. So even if it's not this set, as time goes on, there could be ways to make this 10 strength more attainable, and then this gets a lot better, because 5 lore bumps is kind of mad. So yeah, good card. And we'll go straight to that card that may combo with that Maximus. We have our first legendary, Donald Duck Pie Slinger. 5-cost Inkable, 3/6, quest for 1, shift 4. Humble Pie, when you play this character, if you used shift to play him, each opponent loses 2 lore. And Raging Duck, while an opponent has 10 or more lore, this character gets +6 strength. So, yeah, makes him a 9/6, so Lumiere and Maximus, we in business, baby. Outside of that, the Humble Pie to do deny lore is cool. I mean, like, again, assuming they've got lore, then that's pretty nice. There is a 2-cost Donald Duck who's a 2/3 from first chapter, and there's another Donald Duck in this set, which is a 3-cost, and we'll look at him next. But I think more often than not, there's also a 5-cost, the Evasive, that gets extra lore for each damage counter on him. But I think probably the 2 drops are probably enough to be your shift targets for this. While your opponent has 10 or more lore, so this is only ever online if you're in that mid to late range part of the game. I don't think this is consistently enough going to be good. I don't think it's a good top because the lore denial is only on shift. It's a very interesting card. I don't think it's good enough. Again, it may be a combo piece with that Maximus deck, but at the moment, I don't think it's great. We'll go to that Donald Duck, Daisy's Dates. Very sweet. 3-cost Inkable, 2/4, quest for 1. And Plucky Play. Whenever this character challenges another character, each opponent loses 1 lore. Interesting effect, like, again, the Challenger archetype. The Challenger archetype hasn't been all that great up until now. I don't expect this to change that. I'd rather just play Shere Khan, to be honest. So yeah, cool art. And maybe if you want extra shift targets for that Donald Duck. I mean, I don't think you even want to play the Donald Duck. But if you really want to play him, then maybe you play these as well. But that's about it. Next up, we've got Turbo, Royal Hack. Love this art, love this character. 2-cost uninkable, 2/3, quest for 1, Rush and Game Jump. This character also counts as being named King Candy for shift. And there is, of course, a Floodborn King Candy in Sapphire, but they also have a 1-drop, which 9 times out of 10 is going to be your preference. Although if you're red-blue, then you could have this as well. But this, just in and of itself, nothing particularly interesting. It has the Racer keyword, which I don't think is relevant now, but in the future might be. But yeah, without Evasive and being uninkable, it's not good enough. Next up, we've got Scar Betrayer. 5-cost Inkable, 6/3, quest for 2, and Long Live the King. When you play this character, you may banish chosen character named Mufasa. The second rule of villainy, never settle for second place. Love this art. So yeah, very reminiscent of the chapter 1 Moana that banishes a T-Car. Very specific hate. But that's not necessarily always awful. It's only going to take 1 broken Mufasa for this to see play. Let's put it this way. People played something like Peter Pan's Shadow Finder to be an answer to exactly Diablo. This is inkable. If there is a good enough Mufasa, then there's no reason why this can't come in as a way to answer it at some point in the future. The only thing I will say is this effect should have been return a chosen character named Mufasa to the bottom of the deck so that it doesn't trigger the Amber Mufasa. I really wanted that for this card. But yeah, as it stands right now, it won't see play. We got Snana Rainbow, cool competitor, 3-cost uninkable, 2/4 quest for 1, and Rush, another one of these racers. Yeah, Rush is cool. Uninkable sometimes is fine if it's good enough, but only hitting for 2. 4 willpower is nice, but it's not good enough. We've got Daisy Duck, Spotless Food Fighter, 2-cost inkable, 2/2 quest for 1, and evasive. While all decks are so well prepped to deal with Diablo, you can never be any good, unfortunately. But you are I think the only Daisy in Ruby, and you're nice and cheap, so if we get a Floodborn, then you might then this is probably quite good. You wouldn't play it just for this, the stats aren't good enough, but if you're playing it for a Floodborn and it could potentially get away with a couple of turns of questing because of the evasive, then great, but that's about it. We've got Mickey Mouse, Enthusiastic Dancer, 4-cost inkable, 2/4 quest for 2, and perfect partners. While you have a character named Minnie Mouse in play, this character gets +2 strength. Yeah, I mean, let's assume you have the Minnie. He's a 4-cost 4/4 who quests for 2, which is an okay stat line, but I don't think it's good enough for the 4-drop slot. And if you don't have that Minnie, then it's straight terrible. So sorry, Mickey, but this is not your time. Next up, we've got Ratagan, Raging Rat. I loves it. 3-cost inkable, 1/5 quest for 1, and nothing can stand in my way. While this character has damage, he gets +2 strength. So if we manage to get a ping on him with Teeth and Ambitions, or because we sent him to the races, or anything like that, then he is a 3/5 on a 3-cost character, which is pretty good. The problem is, you do that 1 ping damage to make him have strength, 3 strength, and then all of a sudden he's just trading with Fox, which I don't think is an efficient trade, considering you had to set this up with damage. As much as I hate to admit it, I don't think it's great. However, it is a very good shift target for the new Floodborn Ratigan, Party Crasher. 7-cost uninkable, 5/5, quest for 3, shift 4, evasive, and delightfully wicked. Mate, I could so do Ratagan. I want you to know that when the time comes that there start being rumours about Basil, the Great Mouse the Detective remake, I need you all to come all the way out for your boy. I want to be seen all over social media. Lorcana Villain for Ratagan. That is the time that, like, I will put out a post or a video and I will just go, it is time. And you will all know that it is indeed time. I could so do it anyway. This card, it's kind of cool. It's out of Medusa, which is lovely. It's in World's Greatest Criminal Mind range. But that's nowhere near as common as like being in Medusa range or even being as low as Brawl range. 5 willpower. It falls to Zeus, which really, if this was a 5/6, it would be a little better. Well, obviously, but yeah, just falling to Zeus isn't great. The evasive is very good, and yeah, your damage characters get +2 strength. So in a deck which is maximizing this self-ping, something that's using things like that Ralph. Maybe it's utilizing the 5-cost legendary Donald Duck from a previous set that gets extra lore. Then maybe there's a place for this. He's uninkable. But in the future, as 7-cost songs become more relevant, and I know like the most important song potentially in the entire game is a 7-cost song in Ruby called Be Prepared. But you would never, if you're shifting this and then singing Be Prepared, something went really wrong and you're probably still losing. But hopefully in the future there'll be 7-cost songs that are worth playing, and the idea of singing them on 4 is pretty good. So I have hope for this Ratagan. It's not going to immediately see play, but who knows? In the future, I believe in ya. Next up, we've got Pete, Pastry Chomper, 3-cost inkable, 4/3 quest for 1. Nothing spectacular, but we're looking at him because we are also getting this Pete, Steamboat Rival, the other end of the art from the Emerald Mickey Mouse, the Steamboat Willie one, which absolutely love. 7-cost inkable, 6/6, quest for 2, and Scram. When you play this character, if you have another character named Pete in play, you may banish chosen opposing character. So there's that Pete that we just looked at a moment ago. There are 2 Petes already in Emerald, the one that has Ward, and another one which I think is a 3 cost. It's nothing great, but a couple of Petes nonetheless. And of course we are getting in Steel the Pete the referee one, who denies actions, best card in the set. And we're also getting the Steel Repeat. I know it's not funny, but I love it. It's so stupid that I absolutely love it. Anyway, this card is kind of actually interesting because it's a 7 cost Maleficent in nearly every respect, except it's got 1 less strength and 1 more willpower. The 1 more willpower means that it doesn't fall to Zeus, which is pretty cool. The 1 less strength means it doesn't one-shot the castle, but that's not always going to be the worst thing, and questing for 2. So if that is ever consistent, like if there is ever another Ruby Pete, or again, if you are just Ruby Steel and you're playing the Steel Pete, the good one that denies actions, you absolutely might find room for this. I think probably you would need a couple more cheap Petes to make it a bit more consistent. But if there's ever enough Petes that we can warrant playing, then this could absolutely find its way into decks. So yeah, I think this is pretty good. You're pretty good. Just what I'd expect from the man with the same cold as the boss. Name that video game down below. Moving on, Robin Hood Sharpshooter. One of the most interesting cards in the set, for sure. And one of our legendaries with a beautiful, beautiful enchanted. 4 cost uninkable, 1/4, quest for 2, and my greatest performance. Whenever this character quests, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal an action card with cost 6 or less and play it for free. Put the rest in your discard. So let's talk about some positives and synergies here. For a start, if you are able to hit an action off this, that could be really good. It's 6 cost or less, so Pirate's Life in the same colour, Treasures Untold to return items, Blast from your past, which is actually double synergy because you're flooding your discard pile. Something like a Grab Swords, a Whole New World, a Dragonfire, and again, if you're using this Robin Hood, you're probably maximising your actions. A Dragonfire, a We Don't Talk About Bruno. It's probably the only circumstances where it's fair to run Finders Keepers if you can cheat it out. Along Came Zeus is a pretty good one. How Far I'll Go, Be King Undisputed, You're Welcome, that we'll be looking at when we get to our Emerald reviews. You Have Forgotten Me. I think those 4 to 6s are absolutely worth, and hey, there's some 3s where you're not going to mind hitting them, Let the Storm Rage On. But yeah, I think those ones that we just went through are probably the best ones that you could possibly hit from this, so that could be pretty cool. There are also ways to manipulate the deck to potentially get this online. If you're paired with Amber, there's the new Minnie who can put a card at the top of the deck, and there's things like Cauldron and cards of similar effect where we can maybe influence this. So that's one cool part of this effect, but also just putting cards into the fact that the rest of the cards go to the discard is super unique. We don't, like most cards, we have that search for something, then put it back in the deck, either at the top or the bottom. But the fact that it's in the discard is pretty cool. If you think about synergies with Hades and the Underworld, just to get characters back, filling up the discard for Chernabog and the new, I think his name's Christoph, new Amber card. You think about things like Do It Again and Lady Tremaine that let you get actions back from the discard. Anything that has any sort of interaction with the discard, which we don't have loads yet, but we have some, and you just got to know we're going to get more and more. That in itself could make this an engine in a really powerful deck, and it reminds me of Yu-Gi-Oh! To be honest, it reminds me of old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Which was great. That's not a bad thing at all. This is kind of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card, right? Like old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, am I wrong? Unfortunately, it's on quest, which better than an exert because at least you're getting the questing power for it. Although on an exert you could potentially do it multiple times in a turn. But yeah, it's on quest, so it's slow. You have to have it down for a full turn. And 1 strength. This is falling to Brawl. This is falling to Muse's interaction, Under the Sea. If it ever got good enough, even just the Daring Visitor, Sisu. There is just too much that answers this, which is so sad. Can we play it with Amber and put it down on turn 3? If we play Lantern, yeah, cool. We've still got to worry about Brawl and quite a lot. And it's uninkable. I don't know. I don't think it's its time. I don't think there's no place in the meta for him at the moment. Things need to really change, and like there needs to be less ways and less decks in format that are so easily, readily able to deal with this strength. Because I really want this to see play. It's gonna be, you're gonna see it in fun decks, and you're gonna see that people bring this to League at the very least and try and make it work. But I don't think it's going to yet. But it's a super cool card. Not going to discuss this Gaston. I did a whole video talking specifically about this, so that'll be linked down below. Feel free to check it out. We've got a new Arthur, Novice Sparrow, 1 cost uninkable, 2/3, and Reckless. There's the Floodborn in Steel, and this is our cheapest Arthur to potentially go with that, but there's also a 2 cost in Steel, which is inkable as well, so that'll probably be a preference. But yeah, if you are paired with Ruby, maybe you want this as well. But yeah, like this stat line is pretty good for a 1-drop, like the hope being that you're going to get a 2-for-1 out of this. You're going to take out 2 characters with 2 willpower or less, and 2 strength or less. And yeah, like I said the first time, you're hoping for a 2-for-1 out of this, but it's uninkable. Yeah, I mean, it's not awful. It's going to depend on your uninkable count. It's going to depend on what the meta looks like, and what those first couple of turns are looking like. Is 2 strength going to be enough? So yeah, I'm probably talking about this longer than I need to be. Just 2-3 on a 1-drop is good. So yeah, maybe there is a place for him. Probably not, though, because it's uninkable. We got another race of Vanellope von Schweetz. We looked up, most of the Vanellopes are in Amber, which we already looked at. And there is a Floodborn, so this could be a shift target if you decide to go red-yellow. 4 cost uninkable, 3/3 quest for 2. Rush and Pix Lexia. I do love this character. Like, she's one of my favourite princesses. When you play this character, she gains evasive until the start of your next turn. So this is very reminiscent of Peter Pan Shadow. And if you were playing Peter Pan Shadow to be an evasive answer, then this could be something you opt to go for instead. Like, you're trading, like this has 1 more strength, but the evasive is only going to last in, you're going to get 1 full safe evasive turn out of this. Like, say you play this, rush, banish something, survive the hit, then you're still going to be evasive for like 1 full turn, so on your next turn you could sing something, or you could quest or get off another challenge. But the Peter Pan Shadow keeps evasive, so like if you're running Bee King Undisputed, then you'd probably want the Peter Pan, I think, to have that online more. But then again, that's an Amethyst card, so if you're not red purple, then this may be something that you would opt to use to just be an evasive rush answer. And like at some point it takes out a Diablo at the Cove as well, which is worth bearing in mind. So yeah, I actually wouldn't write this off entirely. This is a pretty good effect, and hitting for 3 could make all the difference. We've got a new Simba, which I really like. 1 cost uninkable, 2/1, quest for 1, and I laugh in the face of danger. When you play this character, chosen character gets +2 strength this turn. Now, this is a 1-drop uninkable that I do think could see some play. It's a way to deal with the 1/4 quest for 2 Daisy that we're getting in this set, that a lot of people really like. It is definitely going to be everywhere. With this, as long as you put down someone with at least 2 strength, then this is a way that you can deal with her in 1. But even just outside of that, the +2 strength could be significant, and putting a body down for a 1-drop. I don't know, there's just something about this I really like. So yeah, I think this could see some play. I don't know where yet exactly. It's probably more meta response than anything. I'm probably overhyping it. I'm a big fan of the art. Yeah, cool card. We've got Minnie Mouse, Dazzling Dancer, to go with that Mickey we looked at earlier. Let's see if she's any better. 3 cost inkable, 2/4 quest for 1, and Dance Off whenever this character or one of your characters named Mickey Mouse challenges another character, gain 1 lore. So yeah, she's definitely better. And an interesting effect, but again, we've had challenger archetype stuff for a while now, like Shere Khan and Queen of Hearts, and there's a couple more I'm forgetting off the top of my head. And those haven't done all that much, and this is more conditional because you need extra specifically named characters on board. So yeah, I don't think she's good enough. Next up, we've got Break Free, 1 cost inkable, action, deal 1 damage to chosen character of yours, they gain rush and get +1 strength this turn. This is pretty interesting. Again, we talked earlier about the benefits of self-damage for that Wreck-It Ralph and things like the Donald Duck, and if you're comboing with something like Rapunzel. So that in itself could have some utility. Rush is obviously a very strong ability, and that extra 1 strength will matter more than more than you might think, to whether it's taking out a location or dealing with a big body. So, yeah, like, again, it's not immediately jumping into every other deck, but maybe it's something that comes up as a meta response, but I think more than likely it just goes into that fun deck that's going to really do a lot of self-ping and, like, quest big with things like Donald and Wreck-It Ralph. So, it's a combo piece and a fun deck, so cool card. Next up, we've got Evil Comes Prepared. Great art, 2-cost inkable action. Ready chosen character of yours. They can't quest for the rest of the turn. If a villain character is chosen, gain 1 lore. So this is pretty cool, and obviously the villain synergy speaks to me. But I think Go the Distance is better. You're re-readying, and then you're drawing a card. Again, that's going to be dependent. Like, if you're 1 lore from game, then this is better. But I think consistency-wise, drawing a card is often better. So, yeah, like, I think even in a villain deck, you would probably still play, if you wanted a re-readying effect, you would probably still play the Go the Distance. But, yeah, not much to say more than that. We've got Don't Let the Frostbite Bite, 7-cost inkable song. Ready all your characters. They can't quest for the rest of the turn. Yeah, I think this is super, super expensive, super situational, that this is going to be worth playing. I think we've got better cards to re-ready our characters. And wanting to do it to more than one is a bit, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of this card. It's a rare as well. Yeah, I don't see a place for this. We've got Glimmer versus Glimmer. I absolutely called this when we first saw this trailer. When this segment happened with this arm wrestling conversation, I was like, that silhouette there needs to be on a card. And then this came out. Absolutely knew it. 4-cost uninkable. Banish chosen character of yours to banish chosen character. This is super, super bad. It is infinitely worse than the Most Diabolical Scheme. And I'm not just saying that biasly. Most Diabolical Scheme is 3-cost uninkable. And you banish one of your villains to banish your imposing character. But it's a song. We can sing it. Yes, it's more conditional on like you having enough villains. But just the fact that you can sing it makes it so much better. And we have things like Bee King Undisputed. I'd rather play the one more for Dragon's Fire. Until, of course, we get characters that want to be banished. And we have a reason to want to banish them. Then this could potentially be a combo piece. Until that time happens, you're not going to see it. Next up, we've got Who's With Me? 3-cost inkable. And don't forget, the purple unicorn is mine. That may be the greatest flavor text of all time. Your characters get +2 strength this turn. And whenever one of your characters with Reckless challenges another character this turn, gain 2 lore. So who has Reckless? Of course, the main target is Maui. There's also Hercules that sees some play. There's T-Car over here. And if we're playing a lot of Reckless characters, we can play Dive Bomb to banish opposing characters. There's this Maui Soaring Demigod, Gaston, Felicia, Della Duck, and Arthur, and of course a couple of others in other colours, but yeah, predominantly it's a Ruby trait. So sure, if we've got 2 or 3 Reckless characters on board and our opponent has 2 or 3 characters that we can challenge, or at least, like, we're not taking them out with just... You know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say. Like, maybe we've got low strength characters. Maybe we can go multiple Reckless characters into the same character. But a point being, if there's a big enough board state to get, like, maybe a 4 or 6 lore bump out of this, sounds pretty cool, but I think it's far too situational. A +2 strength is cool as an add-on, but I still just don't think this card is good enough. And yeah, being super rare kind of surprises me. I suppose it is quite a unique effect. But tier 1 flavor text. We've got Potion of Might, 1-cost inkable item, Vile Concoction. Pay 1 ink, banish this item. Chosen character gets +3 strength this turn. If a villain character is chosen, they gets +4 strength instead. So here's another item that we can put with that Maximus. So now, if we've got a villain with 6 strength, like Scar, like bloomin' Scar, now he's got 10 strength. That's kind of cool. Or if it's a non-villain that's got 7 strength, like that Nessus, the River Guardian, and there's probably other things with 7 strength. We cooking? Tell me, are we cooking? We're cooking, aren't we? Next up, we've got the Sword Released, 3-cost uninkable item, Power Appointed. At the start of your turn, if you have a character in play with more strength than each opposing character in play, each opponent loses 1 lore and you gain lore equal to the lore lost. This is such a good card against aggro specifically, because they're like almost like, other than maybe the Fox, they're very rarely going to have a character of any strength, and they're not controlling the board, they're just questing and hoping to race you, and if you're just casually taking off of it, even just one a turn, that could be all you need. So I like this against aggro. Outside of that, I don't know. I like it more than Spellbook, I think. The denying the law at the cost of having to have a character with more strength. I mean, again, you just build your deck to be able to do that as consistently as you can. Yeah, this is super interesting. And of course, Ruby Amethyst doesn't really have item interaction. Well, Amethyst has some interaction. It's like return it to your hand. Yeah, it's an interesting effect. I don't think it's good enough. I think we would rather just maximize our Flynn odds, to be honest. We've got Ruby Chromacon, 1-cost inkable item. Exert, chosen character gets +1 strength this turn. There you go. So those characters with 9 strength, like the Donald Duck and the Chernobog, now are at 10. Maximus, we're cooking! And the final card to look at, we have Rattigan's Party, a new location. 2-cost inkable, 1 to move there, 7 willpower, no passive lore gain, but Misfits Revelry. While you have a damaged character here, this location gets +2 lore, which is pretty cool. I've low-key kind of liked Agrabah for a while, which is a 3-cost inkable, 5 willpower with 2 lore. This 7 is pretty nice. It's outside of Maui. So, yeah, it's another tool for that self-ping deck to maybe get some advantage of. It's not going to be a tier 1 deck, but I definitely think there's enough here to make a nice self-ping deck, and this will be a very important part of it. So, yeah, I quite like this card for a fun deck. And there we have all the Ruby cards. It is now midnight. I leave in 3 hours, so I should have time to edit this and set this up to go up on a Sunday evening. So yeah, at the time of you're watching this, I'm still in Italy. Hopefully I've done a good job over the weekend of casting. I probably said a couple of stupid things. That's a bit of a habit that I'm trying to work on. But yeah, I'm so looking forward to going. And yeah, I'm glad that I was able to get a couple of videos up to be released over the weekend. And yeah, it's going to be a busy week of content next week. Obviously, I'm going to be covering the lists from Italy. We've got our last ink to review. We've got to look at all the Emerald cards. I've got the Juniors list coming out from set championships. And then I want to start putting out a couple of videos looking at some early builds for next set decks. And then as soon as the set actually drops, yeah, there should be a lot of content. I'm hopeful I'll be able to get a lot more content over the next couple of weeks than I've been getting out over the last month, which has been kind of one of the reasons I've been a bit down. I feel like I dropped the ball a bit with the channel in the last month. Not all of it my fault. I was ill and then Mum was sick, but there's a whole host of other things that I'll talk about at some point. We're getting pretty close to the channel's 1-year anniversary. That's coming up very soon, and I'll definitely do some sort of like update video then, and I'll sort of talk about my feelings about how this season has been for the channel. But I'm feeling super optimistic for next season, and yeah, super excited to be doing Italy, and hopefully beyond that keep getting the chance to be involved. But that's it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe for all things Lorcana. Hit that like button to show support, and we'll see you soon.